happy Sunday afternoon. So there have been 3 or 4 days of ICE raids in Los Angeles. We saw protests Friday, we saw protests yesterday, on Saturday. Then last night, Donald Trump signed his memo activating 2,000 National Guard troops in Los Angeles. The video right before this one on my page, I went through that executive order and the memo and the legality of it. Here's the thing. From what I understand, all of the raids that ICE has been conducting in Los Angeles over the last 4 days have been raids of businesses. And they are abducting employees who showed up for work. And that culminated yesterday with a raid at a Home Depot in Paramount, California. Now, Paramount, California is about 20 miles south of Los Angeles. It's a city. It's got a population of about 54,000 people, 53,000 people. 81.2% of the people living in Paramount, California identify as Hispanic or Latino. 4% identifying as white, and about 9% identify as black, about 3% identify as Asian. 81.2% of Paramount's residents identify as Hispanic or Latino. Now, and yesterday, the protests kicked off yesterday when ICE agents went to a Home Depot to arrest people who were either working at Home Depot or Hispanic or Latino people who were in the parking lot looking for work. And it's like they responded, ICE showed up at this thing like they had just been dropped in the middle of fucking Baghdad, man. Full military riot gear from head to toe. And there were dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And I think they said they arrested like 40 people at the Home Depot. But those are the kinds of raids that they've been doing. It's fucking ridiculous. Because for a year, Trump's been like, I'm going to deport the criminals. I'm going to deport the worst of the worst. And ICE consistently, in San Diego, they raided restaurants. In Chicago, they raided businesses. In Los Angeles, they've been raiding businesses. And so it's like they've either been raiding businesses or they've been hanging out outside of immigration courts to arrest people who are trying to get here legally. They're trying to get their citizenship legally. And they're getting judges to dismiss their immigration proceedings against these people. And then once the proceeding is dismissed, then you're not in the system anymore. You're not in the court system anymore. There is no mechanism for you to get your citizenship or a green card legally because your case has been dismissed. And you are then, by definition, here illegally because of what the court did, not because of what they did. And so it's like as soon as the courts are dismissing these cases, the ICE agents are swooping in, and that's when we saw video last week of a woman who went to her immigration hearing or an immigration check-in with 3 or 4 of her kids, and the ICE agents fucking zip-tied her kids. But getting back to Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, LA County, they've spent 4 days raiding businesses. ICE has. And apparently ICE is going to be in Los Angeles or around Los Angeles, LA County, for at least the next 30 days. How many Hispanic or Latino people do you think are going to go to work for the next 30 days? How many of them do you think are going to show up for their jobs at this point? I feel safe in saying that ICE has lost the element of surprise. I mean, ICE nationwide had been averaging somewhere between 600 and 800 arrests per day over the last 2 or 3 months. Stephen Miller called, senior leadership of ICE into his office or wherever, had a meeting with them a few days ago, screamed at them, berated them, and demanded that they get creative and demanded that they start arresting at least 3,000 people per day nationwide. The southern border is basically closed. Nobody's coming across anymore. And so ICE and Customs and Border Patrol agents are limited to arresting immigrants who are already within the United States, the vast majority of whom came here to work, the vast majority of whom got employment identification numbers, the vast majority of whom are part of the immigrant population that contributes almost $100 billion a year in federal taxes, paying into things like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid for benefits that they will never, ever be able to collect because they're not citizens. And on top of that, Congress wants to cut $1.6 trillion more from Medicare and Medicaid with their big, beautiful bill. And this whole thing is being handled in such a completely fucking ham-handed, incompetent manner. And while at the same time, like all of these people, like Trump, Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, the border czar Tom Homan. I don't know if you've seen any of the interview clips from Tom Homan on Fox News. First of all, he looks like he just came off a 3-day bender. He looks awful. Like physically, he looks in terrible physical condition. I mean, he looks like his heart's going to explode at any given moment. And that would be tragic. That would be a horrible thing if that were to happen. Nobody wants anything like that to happen. But they're all trying to be like, all this macho and tough shit. And Dan Bongina putting out statements like, if you choose violence, we'll bring handcuffs, choose wisely, or something like that. And I mean, it's all just posturing and bluster and bullshit. And these, it's like the National Guard appears to be a competent, orderly, organized organization who is behaving in a very professional, uniform manner. And these ICE agents, Jesus Christ, if you saw any of the footage from yesterday, man, they're the fucking Keystone Cops. They're absolutely the Keystone Cops. It's like these fat guys in full kit just running around firing tear gas canisters at people and knocking over people who are not even looking at them, and then pouncing on them and cuffing them and, working out their aggressions, I guess, man. These ICE agents are the biggest fucking bunch of clowns I've ever seen when it comes to law enforcement. This whole thing, and now it's like the National Guard is in LA and they have nothing to do. They have nothing to do. They have so little to do that 50 LAPD officers marched in LA's Pride Parade today. Nothing was pulling them away. And yet the National Guard is there because local assets are being overwhelmed and can't handle what's going on. This whole thing is a farce and it's stupid. But these people that I just listed are fucking bloodthirsty, as is Trump's base. They want blood on the asphalt, man. They want blood in the streets. And these ICE agents are probably going to give it to them.